All right. This week in less than 5 minutes. Politics in the English language is sort of the central text for both AP and Britlit. So I'm going to use that to organize this video. And good essays start with a problem. Okay, they identify something that is worth writing about. For George Orwell, that problem was the deteriorization of language. All right. People speculated that if you got bad language, it just means you live in a deteriorated culture. All right. All this cursing in music these days just means we don't have any cultural values, kind of a thing. But Orwell argues that it just means that the instrument's being used differently. Language to Orwell is a tool, all right? It's either a clear tool or a confused tool. And if I'm using confusing language, then I either don't want to be clear or I'm not capable of it. He says modern English is more or less euphonious, which means we're just trying to sound good instead of be clear. You'll recall these are the bad habits he identifies. We talked at length about them in class. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, though. Sometimes you just have to use verbal false limbs. All right? Sometimes you just have to. Maybe that's the baby. Who knows? And speaking of breaking your own rules, George Orwell sort of notoriously breaks his own rules even in this essay. There's a great article you can find on JSTOR. I could get it for you if you're interested, but it kind of goes through and identifies all the times that George Orwell breaks his own rules in this very essay. Because we're not talking about the letter of the law with this essay, we're talking about the spirit of it. The spirit is that, to quote Orwell, the great enemy of clear language is insincerity. Okay, if some writing is confusing or incredibly muddled, then maybe the author doesn't really know what they're talking about. Maybe they don't have a main idea and they're just sort of speaking to sound intelligent. The alternative, though, could be that maybe they're being intentionally unclear. And if we think about the double talk that exists in George Orwell's 1984, there was a very serious political purpose to having so many paradoxical sayings, so much language that was confusing, complicated, unclear. All right, keeping the people dumb served the political purpose of Big Brother. Hold on. These are the codes to your Membean accounts, all right? And don't forget your prompt, Britlit. If you say, if I woke up in 1984 and my goal would be to run out into the woods and hide, that's cool. But you also need to incorporate the text, all right? How did they try that? How was that option of escape acknowledged in 1984? And what did Orwell think about that as an option? So you can't just answer the question with an opinion. You have to prove that you read the book. And I don't know, have a good weekend.